We are here together. This is Dr. Wayne Purnell with retired Lieutenant Colonel David Scott Mann, former Green Beret, and we're here today because we want to talk about leadership. And we have been fortunate at Pride Institute to have brought you, Scott, to our Pride Leadership Summit. For those of you that joined us before, Scott's an amazing gentleman. An amazing gentleman. He is the founder of Mission America. He is the founder of Man Up Leadership Training. And we're so excited to be able to bring him to you twice in the course of 2017. Join us. And so I will stop talking because I want you to meet Lieutenant Colonel David Scott Mann. Scott, how's it going?
Good to see you, brother. What's going on?
Good to see you too. Hey, you're coming to Pride Institute a couple of times this year, and it's fabulous. Really excited to have you. And you know, some of the people watching have actually seen you before. Some of the people watching are going, "Who is this dude?" And isn't it great that Pride's bringing leadership back? And I'm just wondering, what are you going to bring? We've got a couple of one-day seminars where you're coming to Novato, which is, 20 minutes north of the Golden Gate Bridge, so it's an easy fly into San Francisco. What's your day look like for us, and what have you been up to? You've got a couple of books out, and you've got a leadership thing going on for us, so if you want to talk about any or all of that, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, thanks, brother. It's good to see you, Wayne. It's been a crazy year as far as just engaging and teaching and traveling around the country, speaking and training on leadership. I've worked with a lot of your folks when we were out in La Jolla at the seminar there at Torrey Pines, and we spent, a really, really solid period of time getting at the aspects of leadership, mindset, skill set. And, so I've worked with some of your folks that I haven't. For those of you who I have not worked with, I am a former Green Beret. I spent 2+ decades in the U.S. Army, most of that in Army Special Forces, deployed to places like Colombia, Iraq, Afghanistan. And, the reason that I'm so fascinated with leadership and communications in today's world is because as Green Berets, we're kind of the modern-day Lawrence of Arabia. We have to use very, very in-depth, old-school people skills to inspire other indigenous folks to do things they would normally not do, specifically stand up, Wayne, against oppressive situations, oppressive governments, kind of from the bottom up. And you can't do that through coercion. You can't do that through conflict. You really do that through relationships and connection and trust and loyalty. And guess what? Those are the exact same things that leaders in the United States, whether you're a small business owner, whether a dental practice, or whether you work in corporate America, to today, to inspire people to do great things, you really need the abilities of relationship building and connection and storytelling, same kind of things.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I've noticed is that trust is eroding. We've talked about this before, and we talk a lot about this when I teach. But trust is eroding all over around us, like almost the people in California will appreciate this, like the tectonic plates that shift below the earth. It's that significant, and trust is eroding, conflict is rising, and the world that you guys work in, unfortunately, is looking a lot like the world that I grew up in as a Green Beret, where trust is low. And, it's leaders like us, leaders like the folks at Pride, and your members who are going to have to restore trust and lead us out of it. So that's what I teach, and that's what we'll be doing those couple of days that we're together.
It's so congruent. It is so congruent with who we are and what we teach. One of the things that makes a Pride dentist, for example, different than any other dentist out there is that, dentistry, there are great technicians out there.
Right.
But people who are great with relationships, one of the things that makes us different is that we build really strong relationships. That's what creates your loyalty in your team. That's what creates your loyalty in your patients, the ability for the word about who you are to spread. It's like nobody comes away and goes, "Wow, doctor, great margins on that." They come away going, "Wow, I feel so taken care of."
Right.
I feel so safe, right?
That's what people follow, Wayne. I mean, this is a timeless thing. Look, it doesn't matter what you do for a profession, but certainly in something like dentistry, people follow based on emotion and perception.
Exactly.
They don't follow based on logic. They don't follow based on reason. As much as we'd like to think that's the case in our transactional society today, it's not. The leaders, Wayne, who understand this, that most of the connections we make in life are below the surface, below the waterline,
Yep.
that they're the ones who are going to get the most done in the 21st century, especially when you have an environment where trust is eroding and conflict is rising. Those are the people who are going to stand out as authentic, I mean, think about the people that you're drawn to today. Who are you drawn? You're not drawn to the people that are running around doing selfies of themselves, right? You're drawn to the people who are all polished and perfect. You're drawn to the people who are scuffed up, who have run some miles, and who are real. And that's what we get into in what I call rooftop leadership in the training sessions that we do.
That's awesome. It is so congruent with where we're headed. It's really good. I believe, one of the, I do leadership with pride as well. And one of the things that I am often saying is that to be a great leader, you have to be great in relationships.
Yes.
To be great in relationships, you have to be great and solid in yourself first. And so, it's really about who are you? How do you show up? How authentic can you be? Whether it's like, wow, really out there and just, something's really funny, or wow, something really touches you, So,
relationships are, again, we've said this several times, but what we'll actually get into when we're together is I will, even if you've done some of this training with me before, we're going to go deeper, but I'll show you why relationships and trust and empathy and reciprocity and loyalty are so significant today. And the leaders who understand that and then know where those connections actually occur physically through story and active listening and leaning in with physicality, the leaders who get there, it's not even fair, really. And the other thing that's cool about it is that this is not transactional. Like in our line of work, Wayne, if we don't make a connection in 5 minutes, we're dead.
Yeah.
Right? What if you approached your connections in your business and in your life with that same intensity and focus? Well, Guess what? That's what we're all wired to do. Right? So that's what we'll do is we'll get deep on, one of the things we did in Torrey Pines that your folks absolutely loved and we're going to do more of is storytelling. And you're such a great storyteller. You get that. I mean, that's a timeless way to connect with people. And it's so powerful. And, we just scratched the surface in Torrey Pines. We're going to go much deeper on it. Every single person that works with us, here's my promise. You'll leave able to tell your life's story in a way that moves people so powerfully, they'll tell it for you when you're not around.
What's fabulous about that, there are a few things you said, Scott, that I want to emphasize where you were talking about like 3 or 4 different points that people get, and the idea of reciprocity, the idea of, authenticity. Fabulous. The whole thing about, are you being transactional or are you being relational? You didn't say it that way, but that's really, one of the key pieces that is so easy to miss. Are you being transactional, which is quid pro quo, this for that? I did a crown, this will cost you that much, versus I did something that's going to make it so different for you to enjoy your holidays, your kids, your ability to sell. Now it's beyond, I did this to your tooth. It's, I did this for you, with you. And then, just being able to take that forward and have a story that, here's the disconnect, like most people don't get. And this is what I want our members, our Pride members, to really understand, is that your story is so personal. It's you. Right. Does it tie to the dentistry you do? Maybe not. It doesn't matter. It's what makes you you. And, Scott, when you bring this, it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be, I know the power of this. I've seen it. I've seen people, lean in and go, I want more. That's what we want to build. So that's awesome that you're bringing it.
Yeah, I'll just kind of bring it to this point, Wayne, is like I still teach this at Fort Bragg to Green Berets who are going through the course. I still teach this to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I still teach this to undercover law enforcement. I teach this to some very high-performing entrepreneurs. And the fact is this, the ROI is always the same. I actually call it the ROL, the return on leadership. When you invest in people through connections and relationships, and you can restore trust, you become the most relevant person in that person's life, and it develops a level of loyalty and reciprocity where they want to bring it back your way. That's how we're wired to operate as humans. And so what we're going to get into in the time that we have together is how to better understand, as a practitioner, as a leader, why we're social creatures, why your employees are social creatures, your clients, why story is so effective, why narrative, why active listening is so, and how to do it. And trust me, when you start to do those things, people look at you differently. They look at you as someone who is so relevant to their life that they want to be around you. And that's what we're after when we do this kind of training.
That's fabulous. I think we can leave it there. It's like, if you want to increase your ability to be productive, you increase your ability to connect and communicate.
That's it.
Start there, And so with that, we'll leave it as an invitation. Join us. You're coming to us twice that we know of. Maybe we'll build in more, because this is going to sell out. It's a space limited place. So I'm going to say, if you've watched this, which you have, if you got into this place and this interests you at all, sign up right now. It's like space is limited. Come. That's as simple.
Somebody who was in Torrey Pines and see what they say. And
exactly.
Get a sense of what's coming.
Good deal. All right, Lieutenant Colonel David Scott Mann. Thank you. Thank you so much. I look forward to what 2017 has for all of us, and thanks for being part of that.
Yeah, can't wait to see everybody there, Wayne.
Awesome. Good stuff.